going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, and boy, do we have a great show lined up for you. So much drama with Love Island.
So it's just nonstop.
They were leaving babies next to stoves.
No, yeah, that was crazy.
That was wild.
On the counter, ready to roll off.
I know. So much to get into. We have a great lineup of guests this episode, starting with Monica Garcia, who is going to be joining us momentarily. I feel like she needs no introduction, but she's formerly of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with her unceremoniously exiting proofs, receipts, timelines, whatever. She's iconic. We are excited to catch up with her. She's also a big Love Island fan, so we're going to talk some Love Island with Monica and just see what she's been up to. Also, Christina Cocca is with us. She is hilarious on the gram and TikTok. She's a content creator that we have been enjoying her content creating takes. So anyway, she's going to be joining us also shortly to talk some Love Island. I think she's also into the Valley as well. We'll be breaking down the dark Valley later this episode, but also after Monica and Christina, we have TJ and Jaden from Live Island together to answer.
Live Island, baby.
Let's answer all your burning questions. How's TJ feeling about Iris? You know, basically being maybe the most in love couple.
Yeah.
With her and Pepe. How's he doing? Just Jaden's experience, her thoughts on the rest of the cast. We get into a lot with them, and that is up later this episode. But right now, it's time to bring on your girl, Monica Garcia. Welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here, you guys. This is like full circle moment for me.
We still have that burn book that we made for you up in the studio. Up in the office.
Oh my gosh, that effing burn book.
How have you been? I mean, obviously last time we saw you in person, you were on the show. You made an announcement, and obviously, sadly, you shortly thereafter you made another announcement, which our heart goes out to you. But like time has passed, and you announced another amazing miracle. How's everything going?
So good. It's honestly, that was probably going through the miscarriage, you guys, was harder than going through the show because everyone said that I was lying about it. So to go through such a huge loss and then to have the entire world just completely come for you, like you're disgusting for lying about something. It was the hardest time of my life, which is a lot considering everything I went through with the show. But now we have our little rainbow baby and she's amazing. And, everything works out how it's supposed to in the end. And we can't imagine not having her. So, yeah, it's been great.
We've been very open about our losses. Do you feel like your rainbow baby is the same baby that you miscarried with and she just wasn't ready yet?
Okay.
Or do you think they're two separate babies?
So I have theories both ways. This is like actually such an interesting topic. I actually think that I have something where I can't carry boys. And every time I have miscarried, believe that it's a boy. Like for whatever reason, my body is rejecting boys.
Is that a instinctual feeling or is something?
It's actually, I think it's instinctual too, but there's actually a real thing where for whatever reason, your body rejects those chromosomes or doesn't accept them or whatever. But you guys, like for real, it honestly was the hardest time of my life. So having my little rainbow baby, I think she was always meant to be. However you look at that.
Sweet. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
How old is she today?
She's 3 months.
Oh my gosh. Is she a good baby?
Yeah. She's probably my best baby. She has been the best baby that I've had.
So you're just in
Don't
like
let the other
newborn.
kids hear this.
You're in newborn bliss, though.
I know. No, actually, they know. They're like, she's so good.
Are they helping you with her?
I have the best little helpers. They're just like little mommies. They like pack their own little diaper bags for her, like to bring with them. It's really cute. It's really cute.
I love that.
Yeah. It's the most Utah thing I've done, because I have a 20-year-old and a 3-month-old. So,
I mean, obviously, I'm sure that's kept you very busy. So glad to see you where you're at right now. And yeah, I hate to hear. Obviously, we certainly relate to that experience, and it's heartbreaking. But so happy for you and your rainbow baby. So exciting.
Thank you.
What else have you been up to?
So, we bought a house.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. It's currently being remodeled. So we're in the process of just building a dream home and all the things. And it's just, it's amazing what can come from the worst season of your life.
Maybe you're probably not even thinking about this, but do you think we'll ever see you on TV again?
I don't know. I mean, never say never, right? Never say never. As far as Housewives, like Salt Lake City, I don't know. I don't think I would come back unless, and that's not me, because we all know I would have no problem coming back and facing that situation. But unless a couple people left, they've
not
dug
welcome.
their heels in the sand. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Which honestly, it's reality TV, like show the reality of it. And I think it's, I think that a cast should never have control over a
Would
cast.
you want to go on Traders?
I would love to go on Traders.
They would be welcoming. Like, do you think the people who...
I mean, if they had Tom Sandoval.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what your relationship with the network is. Like, are you cool with like Shed Media?
Oh, okay. My relationship with Bravo and Shed and the network and production is amazing. They were incredible. We've had no issues. They're amazing. They've been so supportive. It's truly the cast and not all of the cast.
I'm glad you cleared that up because I feel like a lot of people have a bunch of different like thoughts and theories about,
Have you ever met Brittany?
Brittany Bateman? No. No. She's Heather's friend though, right?
She's
She's
great.
Do you guys have met her?
Never met her,
no.
but we've seen her content on TikTok, and we watched her last season. But I asked because her and Jared broke up again, and I just was wondering if you had any opinion on that.
I don't fucking know. I honestly, that whole situation is so wild to me. I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's so bizarre. Look, I'm not going to start beef with any of
right.
We're not trying to get you in trouble either. We're just,
No, honestly, she said that she would love to get together and talk with me because her first season was extremely traumatic for her. And she feels like I would be able to relate to that.
Maybe, for sure.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, can you post about it? Like if you guys get tea or coffee? The fans would get a hoot,
for sure,
just giving her a little like...
Yeah, the fans would love it and Heather gave...
caption like newbie, teaching her giving her...
Yeah.
Giving her the playbook. Yeah, that's your caption.
I mean, we have a little bit in common since she was secretly recording them, right?
Oh my God.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you admit it. No, I'm kidding.
No, I admit to recording Jen.
Okay.
Yes. I've never denied that though. Yeah.
I know you are a big Love Island fan. What are you watching anything else? What else is keeping your time preoccupied?
So, have you guys ever seen Ginny and Georgia?
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. We had the star.
Yeah, because the new season just came out. Yeah, it's so good.
It's like the most watched show.
I've been loving that.
With like crazy numbers.
No, insane numbers. Like billions of people are watching.
Billions and billions of people.
It's insane. I actually, ironically, haven't watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives the second season. I know it's a sin because I live here, but
maybe does it hit too close to home?
No, I just honestly, I think maybe it does. I don't know. I liked the first season. I really did. So, but I need to watch the second. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah. Nick hosted the reunion.
Okay, was it good?
Really good.
Very good.
Oh my God, that's right, Nick. How
it was great.
That?
Yeah. Now this feels like a setup to talk about the reunion. No. It was great. Those women are amazing. They're professionals and great TV, and I was honored to.
They give.
Be a part of that reunion. So it was great.
Their phenomenon is insane, and I am totally here for that. Like, I think it's incredible. They've just dominated.
I know you haven't watched season 2, but do you have a favorite of what you know about them?
I know Layla. I knew Layla before. So I love Layla. I love her. I love her very much. And then Jessie and I follow each other on social media. She's always been really sweet. But I don't know them. I don't know any of them personally. What do you guys think? Because I will tell you, Housewives is having record low numbers, right? So what do you think is the difference?
Are you talking about, when you say record low, are you mean just like across the franchise in general? You think they're like all struggling?
Yeah. I mean, did you see Miami's numbers, or do you know any of their numbers?
Yeah, like not popping, you know.
No. But then you have Secret Lives, and they're streaming like billions.
Well, listen, I think maybe it's just like a different demographic. And I think you are seeing the Mormon housewife women a little bit more. It seems more like Bravo seems to like, and we've talked about this with the Valley, right? The Valley is a collection of people with young kids and things like that. But it's more about like these just toxic interpersonal relationships where it's just like, it's always kind of dark. And the Mormon housewives, those women give drama and they are amazing at just being honest and vulnerable, but there are friendships and they are at least trying to be like high character people, and then they have highs and lows, and there is like, you know, still like meaningful relationships, and there's vulnerability with some things that they've all been through. And I think it's just more 360 where like it doesn't keep like, we've been watching The Valley all season and we talk about it later in the episode, but it's just like every episode, it's just like just these toxic behaviors. And like, you know, this episode, you have Janet accusing Danny of sexual assault and using language that like a lot of people are like,
oh my God,
having an issue with, you know, and it's just like, and then you have Jax Taylor. It's just, it's dark. And I think the Mormon housewives, it's a brighter, you know, there's fun elements to it still. You're still having a good time. You know, like with Love Island, every once in a while they throw in a silly challenge where you're just laughing. And like, you have to be still like, otherwise you're just like, man, I think there's a little bit of that. I think it's just a little too much yelling and screaming and like going low all the time with these relationships.
That's actually, so I agree with that 100%. It's so true. And I do agree with Jax Taylor and some of the things I've heard about. I haven't watched it, but the whole Britney of it all is just, that's really, really deep. It's
just all dark stuff. And it's just like, you know.
See, even talking about it brings us down.
There you go. So should we get into some Love Island?
Yes.
Well, before we do, let's bring on Christina. We, again, big fans. She's a content creator. You probably recognize her on Instagram or TikTok, but she is talking about all your favorite reality TV shows, and she's going to talk with us and talk some Love Island. So bring on Christina.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Wait, do we need to?
Surprise! Did you not tell Christina that Monica would be here?
No, I didn't. I kind of wanted to keep it as a
surprise.
Hello. I'm glad it's I was concerned that it was going to be like with a one franchise I didn't watch.
She knew it was going to be someone from the Housewives.
Well, as long as you watch Housewives, I mean, Love Island, rather. Yeah. Monica is just on here like yourself as a fan of Love Island.
Yes.
I love that. I was wondering, like, is there just like a Love Island fan housewife who's coming, or are we talking about housewives?
Yeah, we went on Cameo and asked Monica to join us. I don't know when your birthday is, but go ahead, Monica. Sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We got that for you, Christina.
Christina, people have seen your content all over the internet, and certainly we have noticed it from time to time and are fans of what you're making. So we're excited to have you on and talk some Love Island along, obviously, with Monica. And this is a question for both of you ladies before we really dive into the past couple episodes. Like, what are your just general feelings about this season? Who are some of your favorites? And then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty in the past couple episodes.
Thank you for having me, by the way, and for the compliments of watching my content. I think that this season, because of season 6, season 7 started with a deficit. Like, it was coming from like -0, trying to work, -0. That's not a number, but it was starting like with something to prove. And so I think that it harmed it in the terms of like comparisons and the viewers like being willing to engage with the new cast without comparing it. Like, I came for Ariana, and then like I stayed for the drama. So I've only seen season 6 and then this season. Mm-hmm. I'm not like an OG Love Islander. And so, I mean, I can see why season 6 was so incredible, because I feel like the friendships and the relationships were really genuine. And it's not that there aren't any on this season. I think it's taking a lot longer. I think they're hyper aware of what what the perception of them is going to be, to the point where it's disrupting maybe what they would like naturally do. But it's been a roller coaster. Like the 2 episodes, I'll be like screaming and mad, and then I'll be laughing and crying in the next one. So it's
I will say, for all of our critiques of this season and questions about like why didn't we get movie night or things like that, it hasn't been hard to keep up, and I've been invested in this season, whether I've been like annoyed or just, but like they do have dynamic characters. So I don't know, maybe like to your point, Christina, maybe it was never going to live up to the, what season 6 was, which was like really exciting. But like these, ultimately you had the 3 meaningful relationships that are still going strong. And like, despite us watching it for the drama and all that stuff, like it is nice to see people make authentic connections that you want to root for. Monica, just generally speaking, like how are you feeling about this? You seem like you have been a Love Island OG fan for a while. So how are you feeling about this season?
Okay. And I have to apologize because I lost my voice a little bit over the
It's
4th
giving
of July.
sexy rasp.
People normally hate my voice, so maybe this is a good
Phoebe
thing.
from Friends.
It sounds like a Maya now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this whole underlying thing of you're only as good as your last season. And I think that when you are comparing to the previous season, I mean, the same thing happens in the Housewives world. When they have a knockout of the park season, it's like, oh crap, what's the next season going to be like? And you're holding it to that same standard, which obviously you cannot hold it to season 6. I mean, season 6 was the best season I think that they've had. I honestly believe that. I think the cast was perfect. Ariana coming in brought in so many people. It shook up everything. I do think that this season has been, like Christina said, a roller coaster. I think, there was a scene where they were like, the switch up is crazy. And I'm like, the biggest switch up was us turning against the women and then rooting for like Ace and stuff. I mean, this season has been a complete, I don't know, like a fever dream. It's a chaotic mess. And when you really think about it, we're all like so addicted to it. And it's crazy to watch because half the stuff that they do, we would never ask people to do, like put this in your mouth and then spit it in his mouth. And like, what the heck are we watching? Yeah. But we're all like obsessed with it. It's crazy. And I think that there is a lot to be said for this cast maybe coming in and feeling the pressure from the previous season. And, I only say that from kind of that perspective of, oh crap, we have a big shoes to fill here with season 6. And it's just,
they were probably not going to be too self-aware about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
It does feel like they're all kind of like, and I'm excited to ask, Jaden and TJ this later, but like, it does feel like all of the bombshells that come in who like haven't been there the whole time and who have been watching and on TikTok and reading what the fans say, it feels like they kind of come in and like give everyone the down low. And it's like they tell everyone like, oh, this is what's going viral. Everyone's calling Amaya papaya.
Yes.
We're calling like Nicolandria. And I feel like they're kind of letting the originals in on what everyone's thinking about.
I think you nailed it last
episode.
How could they not, And I'm curious what they say, but I'm guessing they will either avoid the question or just kind of like suggest that they're not hearing anything. But what does happen, and I'm curious, is that like there's going to be like some kind of lower level producer that's like their handler who like kind of like gives them the tea off record and does like, don't tell anyone, but eventually everyone's, you know what I'm saying? So they all kind of know, but from an official policy standpoint, like I bet the policy is like, they're not supposed to like share. But like, how are these people knowing about Amaya Papaya or Nicolandria or like just some of the things that the internet is talking about? I don't know.
Well, when the bombshells are awaiting their arrival, I know that they're able to like watch the episodes, but I'm not sure that they have access to their social. I don't know. Like I remember seeing a video of Iris finding out that she was going and she was packing in her apartment. And I remember last season, like last season, there were bombshells who were like, no, I was like sitting there isolated in Fiji in a hotel room for 4 weeks.
It's a mix of both. One thing I've learned about, I'm curious what you think always when it comes to talking like production in this world, Monica. But like also the love competition shows do move a little bit different than the like, episodic with like a repeating cast, because like relationships are more meaningful when you have people coming back with seasons, and like, when you have one season, it could just be like, these people come and go. But I think it's a mixed bag, right? You're going to hear stories of people who have sat in hotel rooms for weeks, and then you're going to hear people who like literally flew in. I think Vanna said like she flew in like 24 hours. Yeah. Because again, like I think the show really wants to like, they don't want to be that committal. Like they are trying to give us what we want. So it's a mix.
I agree with you, Nick. I think it's kind of like ever flowing. I think that, people have, is it scripted? Is it real? Either way, it is happening in real time. And so they kind of have to change and go with what's happening. And so that might direct their decision making to somewhere where they didn't think it would be before. Like, okay, crap, let's do this. Let's bring Vanna in. Let's do this. Where maybe they weren't thinking that before. I think that some decisions are made like on the fly.
I think also the like, oh, the switch up is crazy thing. Like after that America most genuine best boyfriend material, like that confused me as a viewer, because the vote was like your favorite Islander guy and girl, but the things that they were telling them on that episode were polls that were like put up like the day before or something. And so I was like, I didn't pick. What are these? Like, I just vote when there's like a vote. I don't really do all the polls. And so anyway, that's a separate thought. But I think that clearly they were like, oh, like Amaya's like, oh, Ace and Shelley.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ace's switch up with Amaya when he realized, oh, fuck, America loves this bitch was crazy.
Exactly.
And but honestly, thank God, because since then, like it's been so much more fun. And a lot of people have been like trying to say like, oh my God, like the energy is so much lighter since Sierra left. I'm like, that to me, I think that's just a coincidence. I think like
that's projecting.
The even that game, that like American Ninja Warrior game that they had them play that one night that had like no point. I think it was just like, these people need to have fun.
Yeah. We don't need any more mess or tea. Like we don't need like sneakiness. Like let's just go.
Well, it is kind of weird. And the bigger question I had, again, and Monica, always want to hear perspective, but again, a general criticism or note from fans over this season, and even from us, or questioning at least, is producer involvement. Is this season being overproduced, et cetera, et cetera? I think that sometimes that's easy to criticize or even a scapegoat. I will say, just like knowing how this stuff works, I think we have to take into consider, right? Like what's one of the big gripes of this season? And that is like, oh, once a couples up or connections are made, they're just killed. They're assassinated, right?
Crazy.
But last night, that was on America. You know what I'm saying? Like, say what you want about producers' involvement. America got to pick their favorite couple, and we were like, we don't care if they're in love. Like, they are by far the most genuine connections. Regardless of you think about Clarke and Taylor, like they like each other. It's obvious. You see it. Like he likes her so much that he was willing to piss off everyone in the villa, and we were like, you know what? Fuck you.
And America.
But I think that's why he got that vote. Like, I think we were all just mad.
Totally, but I think we have to. But like, my point is like, as fans and producers would love a cast that like America loves, and they're organically like not self-editing and not overly self-conscious and not trying to like write their own story. And I think sometimes producers are forced to produce in situations they don't want to produce. And I think it's not as clear to tell which is which, right? Like, I think sometimes they have to produce, even like, they're like, man, this Ace guy is like, honestly, he's stopping people from like, everyone's listening to Ace, right? Like in a bachelor house, if like, for example, a little BTS, if like in week 3, there was someone being like, man, pointing out all the cameras and pointing out producers and being like, this is all bullshit, they get that person sent home, because it's just kind of toxic for the experiment that everyone signed up for. And it is an experiment. And sometimes there are people in this experiment that kind of like taint the experiment. And I think that's where producers sometimes have to do stuff that like we don't like, but I actually think it's to the benefit of the show.
So that was my question. Do you guys actually think that when there's votes or polls or whatever, and then they reveal the answers, do you think those were the real answers? Or do you think there's some behind the scenes?
I don't think so.
fraud?
I feel like there's no fucking way that TJ was like the least voted man out of Zach and Elon. And after we had Zach like come at Amaya at the Stand on Business challenge, how is TJ on the chopping block?
How is Clarke on the bottom of every poll, but not in the bottom 3?
She's bursting.
That's what I said. That is exactly what I said. I'm like, how is she number 10 in every single freaking thing? And then she's not even in the bottom. I said the same exact thing. I'm like,
There was the poll that we took. Then we watched the business challenge. And then at the most least whatever thing, that was the results from the poll before the Stand on Business. Then our next vote after that was for well, actually, no. The vote that I thought we were going to get was our favorite girl and guy. That's what we voted for. Also, that was in the like best, worst, whatever, or most least. Then the vote was for our favorite couple. And the thing that's frustrating me about these votes, and correct me, I might not be right, but I think I am. But what's frustrating me about the votes is I'm voting for my favorite, and they never. I know why they're not revealing the favorite, because I think that would change the dynamics a lot more than saying just like whoever got the least amount of votes. But like, I want to know who's the top.
We know it's our Amaya Papaya.
Christina, who is your favorite?
Nick, they can never make me hate you. I love him. I just do. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
But Amaya deserves to win.
She does.
She is just, I've like, not fantasized, that's a weird word. I've like I've imagined the moment that she comes out and she gets her phone back and she sees like the love everyone has for her. Like I literally get chills thinking about it. Like I'm so excited.
The fact
for
that
her.
she's the only Islander who went on this show and wasn't like, hey, can someone run my account to get me followers? She was just like, I'm just going to go. I just want to go on the show and find love. Crazy. She's so genuine and she deserves the world.
She really is.
I feel like Nick is America's fuckboy. It's like, they're like, you know what? I don't know. I probably shouldn't like him so much, but whatever. He's just so adorable and fun. And I just like, oh my God, maybe he'll date me.
I love him.
Are you guys?
I had a full, when I thought that he was leaving before they got in there in the G-Wagon and cliffhanger. Like I posted a video of it. It's just audio and then like a shot of my TV, but I really was like deranged, losing my mind.
Oh my God.
I mean, even me, like I'm a hypocrite because it's just like I'm criticizing all of us for like not giving a fuck about like, I guess being like, Clarke and Taylor should go home, because when it was down to Nicolandria, I was like, no, I'm not ready for them to leave. Like, I don't know. I was like, not yet. No. I don't know why, because like I'm generally like, I'm not like team Nicolandria. I don't really believe it's sincerity. I think they're great friends. I think there's a lot of mutual respect. I like them both as individuals, but I'm just not. Who knows? Could be wrong.
Well, also they haven't they had that steamy soul ties kiss. Then now they're like, they've chosen each other as a couple. Why aren't they making out? I would like to watch
especially
that.
Now because like there's a drastic shift to past episode, and it's really given like back in like Bachelor in Paradise early days where like everyone's, again, it's like a smorgasbord at first. There's a lot of swapping, a lot of love triangles, and then like on Bachelor in Paradise, they would actually have Chris Harrison come in, and all of a sudden, like, now it's time to get serious. And like, now it's time to really ask yourselves, can you see a future with this person, and blah, blah, blah. And everyone just goes from like, just kind of casually dating to be like playing house and like acting like they're an engaged couple. And it's really giving with this cast the past couple episodes, while we didn't get to see it, that like the show was like, all right, guys, it's time. Like, cause everyone's just like, we're in love. Everyone is just like coupled up. It's all about the relationships, like, the whole baby challenge. It's really giving that.
Do you guys think that Nick should have left when Sierra left?
No.
Okay, so actually Zach from the cast just posted a live, and he said something interesting about like a little BTS of what they were told. He said that when Sierra left, the producers kind of like gathered them all together and said, unfortunately, Sierra has broken some of the policies of our guidelines. She'll no longer be here in the villa. And that's the only information we can give you guys. And he said, like, if you need to speak to somebody, speak to them, whatever. And then he said that like Nick took it pretty hard. But then Zach kind of said, at the end of the day, as much as you want to feel sorry for somebody, if you know they got removed from a show for saying something offensive, you can't really feel sorry for them until you know what it is.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you guys really believe that Nick was that into Sierra in the first place?
No.
His demeanor is so different around Nicolandria. Like, I do believe he was into Sierra, but like, I remember at some point being like, I wish we were seeing more of them as a couple, because I feel like they're cool together. But every time we did, their conversations were like, I was obsessed with hippos. Have you ever like
Yes.
No, but like
Shrek 1 or Shrek 2.
Like, and he just he seemed bored
because they hooked up.
Just at least compared to now. I mean, he is like, he just seems so
now he's ready to have
excited.
Deep conversations, you know? He wants to talk childhood trauma.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying though. And like not to take anything away from the Nicolandria stance. I think it's more about the fact that like Sierra and Nick hooked up and then Nick immediately turned into the guy who is this like, I don't know, do I like her? I'm not sure. You know, like, I don't know. She's cool and whatever. And so every conversation he's having with Sierra, he's trying to keep it surface level. He's playing the whole like, well, I don't want her to like accuse me of leading her on. And like, you know, when the guy starts just like him becoming more and more distant. And with Nicolandria, like it's his girl. There's no pressure. He's like, you know, he's like, I don't care. Let's go deep. I'm not worried, you know, because Nicolandria is like, so like, do we get an apartment right away when we get out of the villa? Like, am I moving? Are you moving? And he's just like, totally. Yeah. It's just like, so like, what's your favorite animal? Like, you know, like
he's like, I want to visit out this. I think he's been to like 40 something countries or something. He's like, I really want to go visit Alabama.
Yeah.
You hated Alabama.
Is that
right?
where she even lives?
He also talked about wanting to adopt kids.
Yeah. Which he did. He told with the mamacita, he was like he was a sperm donor for his
guys,
friends.
do you
right?
Yes.
Do you remember the baby challenge? And Nick goes to first question to Nicolandria. So do you think you could be a single mother? Like, the fuck? Like what?
Yeah, that was wild.
I think he meant that as in I've thought about being a single
Where are you going, Nick? Like, are you
He's like, I know we just had these babies, but do you see yourself being a single mom?
That was
do you think you could be a deadbeat dad?
Stick up for your man. Stick up for your man, Christina.
That was such good TV.
He's awesome.
That was such good TV to me.
I loved the baby challenge. I thought it was so funny.
Cute.
I thought it was hilarious.
I just could not have loved anything more. Like I'm obsessed with it. I just
How did you guys feel about like the Huda and Chris?
It was really the whole challenge. I felt was really endearing. It was like, you know, very sweet to see all of them like, you know, kind of take it serious, and all the men like kind of wearing the babies and whatever. That was cute. Someone definitely needed to tell Huda that baby was fake, because her getting so pissed off at Chris for like,
she got so mad.
You're ripping the shirt off of her head.
I don't like that color.
You know, like Chris and Huda
He went to set her down on the bench, and she's like, she can't hold her head up. She's like holding the. He's like, I was just sitting with her over here.
You can tell he was like totally emasculated in that moment, and like something like,
and the whole like, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm curious what y'all think about Tuesday night's episode, because Huda did that thing that she does where she has a conversation, and then when she tells somebody else about the conversation, it is the opposite of what the conversation was. Like, remember when she had the water slide date with Jeremiah, and they're talking about moving in together, and he's like, well, and then she comes back to the villa and is like, yeah, he says he wants to like live together, and they're like, really? And so last night, or on Tuesday night, she's talking to Chris, and she goes, are you tired? And he says, no, I'm just mellow. And she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm just mellow, blah, 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 blah. Like, even if him saying I'm just mellow is clearly like a lie. He like,
you fucking
does
hate
not
me.
want to be with this person. But she goes back to the girls in the makeup room and is like, he is exhausted. Oh my God. He said he was so tired. That challenge wore him out. He's so tired. I'm like, He literally said no when you asked him if he was tired.
I mean, he was clearly upset about like the whole kissing thing, and then the whole challenge. She was kind of like on his ass about it.
What is y'all's take on her like not wanting to show any affection in front of the Islanders, but as soon as the lights go off, she's like,
I gotta control my face.
Can you say that when you clapped your ass on your head?
literally. When you reverse cowgirled on Ace.
You sat on Ace's face like 3 days
he
ago.
He ate your asshole.
Like, what are you talking about? Respectfully. Like, what? It just doesn't I'm sorry. Like, she's just coming up with stuff. Like,
No, that's so weird. I don't understand it, especially because she was like all over Jeremiah.
Exactly.
Well, she's claiming that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe she suffers from short-term memory loss. Like, it's just one. It's like Memento. It's just like today's a new day. Whatever. But like generally, because Huda generally, they can tell, like women we've talked to, a lot of she's one of the nicer ones. Like without people we've interviewed.
I didn't view myself on laughing.
But like, it's like all of a sudden Huda just like gets like locked in, and we'll be like, what is she? Like when she's like, if I were ugly, would it be different? Excuse me?
What? Yeah. What are you?
That was crazy.
And honestly, Chris is like such a good, kind, mature man.
Yeah.
The way he's able to handle her.
Chris just wants to go to Space Jam.
He does. Like, he wants to play in 2K.
I would be pissed though. If I was him, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why the hell aren't you kissing me in public? Like, that's so weird.
And it makes sense. Him being like, I feel like she's embarrassed of me. Like, I don't really understand. It's like, as soon as the lights go off, and him being like, you want to have sex with me. Like, as soon as the lights, it's not even like, oh, when the lights go off, you want to just like hold hands and kiss a couple times. It's like, you're going from 0 to 100. As soon as lights go off. And it's like people are 4 feet away from you, like trying to sleep.
I don't think it's that deep for Huda. I think it's like this subconscious, like, I think she lacks control in a lot of aspects of her life. And like, this is one of she does, like we all done it in relationships where you just like, you test that person and you see, and like, instead of just like communicating, it's like, what's frustrating about Nick and Huda is like, they actually like, they do try to communicate how they feel, right? They will talk about
Nick
it.
Nick and Huda?
I'm sorry,
or
Chris and Huda.
I was like keep his
name
out. Chris and Huda, like they do try to communicate their feelings and frustrations, but instead of just like talking about them and like, they're just like, don't tell me to shut up. Like they're like, now they're at like, well, if you're going to set about, like, they're just matching each other's energy, So like, Huda comes at Chris, and now it's like, his response is more about like, I got to stand up for myself. I can't let someone speak to me this way. And it just like gets more and more like, Jesus.
Then also when they had that chat, like after the weird, like random basketball game, and they all came back, and he was like, okay, I'm finally ready to like talk to Huda. And he sits her down, and he like is trying to explain like where he's coming from. And then he's like, oh, I'll kiss you right now or something. And she was like, I'm going to throw up. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. I'm like, this poor guy.
Yeah, that was like, what the hell? She's like, I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
I'm like, this poor guy just is trying to be so sweet and nurturing to you, and you will not allow it.
I'm curious if any of you guys think that his like, I just was dreaming of playing basketball last night. And,
I don't know.
Like if that was,
he made that up.
If that was like hey, just a
play basketball.
Like we're not actually gonna date. So like, there's like a couple theories.
When she's like planning their future, she's like, I see you, outside of this. And every chance he gets, he's like, I'm going to play ball overseas.
No.
Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I'm gone 6 to 9 months.
He's literally, I'm gone every day of the year. I can't.
He like throws in the long distance thing any chance he could get. He's like, long distance, long distance, long distance.
One of the comments I got was like, soft launching unemployment is wild or something like that. Like he's trying to be like, hey, I'm available to play. Like if that was his.
Hey, you know what? In the unemployment line, we're all fans.
Oh my God.
Honestly, like Czechoslovakia would, like, their basketball team would do numbers if someone from Love Island was on it.
Honestly, whether he's good or not,
he might get another.
This is a great marketing and a little stunt cast. Even if he,
yeah.
Were you all as bummed as Nally and I were when like. I didn't need the bro chat to let them like, prove there's no toxic masculinity in this group. I wanted the girls to like show up in the bleachers and kind of a little bit toxic, like either get the ick from their man or like gonna get turned on that Pepe's just like shooting Jays. Like I wanted that, and I didn't need what we got.
Yeah. Last night was the first time I was like, hold on, we've been watching for 5 minutes. How are we 30 minutes in? What do you mean we're halfway through this episode? It just was like, it just felt like nothing. Yeah. What was that? Why are we? I started playing basketball by Bow Wow, like in the background on my
and then for all the women to just like be sitting back, it's like we didn't want to give them any like activity. I don't
give him a spa
day.
Yeah,
the spa day.
They did that last. I think they did that last year.
They do it on UK all the time too. It's like the girls will get something at the villa, like a spa or something else.
I will say Taylor asking Clarke to be exclusive. That was cute. Like all of the guys doing the cheer.
That was so cute.
You knew they were going home then. It was very much giving like Bachelor, like, I'm falling in love with you. And it's like, all right, well, I guess I realized I definitely can't fall in love with you now, because now hearing you say that is like definitely it's cleared, now I was confused before. Now I'm not confused. You got to go.
My thing is like, instead of them playing basketball, I would have loved to watch them trying to practice that thing. That was so cute. It was so funny. Like let us see them like goofing around and like falling over, and they're like, how do I make the R shape or what? Just something.
Yeah,
I agree, because like when they came out and they actually performed it, they nailed that. And I'm like, whoa, how long did they practice this?
They were in
They did
step.
not miss a beat. They were on point.
The boys should have been the cheerleaders doing that routine, and the girls should have been playing basketball. That's what I wanted to see.
There was a like split second in the back, like where after the cheer, somebody like they were carrying Taylor in the air, and like he was like horizontal, like being carried. Like I would have much rather seen more of that, but.
Like, I don't know. I don't think we can spell exclusive, so maybe we just spell Clarke. Nick's like CLARK. It's like you don't know how to spell her name.
Let's just knock off the E because there's not enough of us.
No. That's all right. He didn't know that Sierra spelled her name with a C until
that's true.
After they hooked up.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
But you know what? He knows how to spell Andrea.
It's like how Nick spelled Amaya's name with a J instead of a Y. It's like, I mean, I guess.
Wait, what?
That's because everyone's babe to Nick.
No. Zach did that, not Nick. You guys keep bringing my
Christina's defending her
boyfriend
man.
into.
I just like when they were like, "How are we gonna make an R?" And I'm because I was sitting on my couch and I'm like, "How are they gonna make an R?"
I wasn't thinking they were doing it with their arms. I was like, "Oh, this is a full body." Yeah, like legs are like, L, wait. Arms are the top of the L. Is what I was.
But you also could have just
thinking,
like a lowercase might have been easier.
Cute. Oh, yeah. It was cute.
I wasn't there. I couldn't have helped.
Not them making sure that Nicolandria was like the center shot.
Stage.
Like
literally.
Oh
as if she was presiding over their wedding.
I know. That was so shady.
When Clarke was packing, like she's sitting on the floor with her suitcase.
Andrea's like, checking herself out in the mirror.
Literally, she's like fixing her cleavage.
Yeah, she really is. She's just like,
yeah. Nuts.
Yeah.
Also, but Nicolandria is an Auburn fan, which shout out to Auburn. That was like a cool.
Let's go.
That was an underdog.
That was a cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
Nick tried to talk football with her, and she was like, "Anyways, we'll circle back."
I feel like it's getting better now that Ace isn't. You can tell that they were like, okay, Ace, you need to take a seat back.
You needed a piece of humble pie.
Stop trying to control the whole villa.
Yeah, it's fun. Like 4 days before it's over.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I feel like I'm just starting to like really. We're getting into it, but at the same time, that's just because it went by fast. Like I was watching every night, and like you said earlier, Nick, like if this was not hard for me to keep up with. Like, no, me neither. Yeah. I'm ready every night.
When we got people saying, "Bite 'em, baby."
Yeah.
Eat that kitty. Eat that kitty in the hideaway. Eat that kitty.
Yeah.
I gotta shave my ass.
I have to shave my ass crack.
Kitty in the hideaway.
Top tier.
She went on her journey twice.
Yeah, twice.
Bite them, baby was crazy.
That was
That was so.
It was awesome.
I'm over here nursing, and I'm like,
It sounded like she said, "I like that, baby," but that was like a Love Island self-imposed. That was like a caption they decided to put.
Yeah, in case it wasn't clear, then here's the subtitles.
Yeah.
But also, who's ever writing those subtitles, they gotta get better.
Do you think there's any way when Chris was like, "Hey, we basically had sex," and he said, "I folded"?
Yeah.
Did it almost sound like he said the F word and they just dubbed in folded, or am I crazy?
I had to replay that
thought he
part,
said I
Nick,
fucked her
3 times. I'm like, what did I hear? Yes. Because I didn't think he said folded. I was just like, what did he say? What were they saying? Yeah.
But like, Brian knew exactly what Chris meant when he said I folded, and I'm not sure why. I wouldn't immediately be like, oh, you guys had sex? Maybe in those.
I don't know. That's what I like immediately understood what he was alluding to.
We don't want to start a conspiracy.
But I don't. No, sorry. Well, speaking of audio conspiracies, y'all had to have seen it. It's like you can hear Sierra screaming, "Don't do this!" Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Nah.
First of all, there's no you actually don't know who it is. You don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, and you're trying to make it just sounds like Amaya being like, yeah, like who knew? What are you people are like, there's proof. There's proof.
Well, also,
they act like she's like being drugged by her feet, being like, don't do this.
I know.
Like, it's at 27 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, no, okay, you can hear it. I'm like, people are like, you can hear it. Go listen. I'm like, I can't hear it.
I mean, listen, this always happens when a show's #1, but the breaking down screenshots and insert, it's just like, it is a TV show. Yes, it's edited. Yes, we lose context sometimes. Yeah, but like they're not. Yeah.
Do you guys, and this is kind of like a serious question, but I have been dying to ask you guys this. Do you think that it's a reality show and that they should actually play the reality of that show, and that they should have shown how did they find out, what exactly happened in the villa, how were people reacting, what was Nick's reaction? Like, do you guys think like, hello, we're watching a reality TV show, like show the reality of what's happening? Like they don't have to break down, but like show like it was like nothing happened, Sierra's gone.
I don't think they would, because production is the one who like told the Islanders, and then it would be like they would be opening up themselves for people to be like, you didn't handle that right, you didn't tell them the truth, you didn't say this, you said that, that's not what happened. And so I think they would be like protecting themselves by not showing what they tell.
Also, I think that just makes it a different show. That's more like the Truman Show, when you just have like a live stream and you see everything. Like, we know it's edited, so it's just like not the show. And I just think the audience is so toxic. It's just like, I think they do have to try to protect these people in ways that, like, I don't think it just to go offline and come back with, fans and haters and people like, there are fans trying to get, Nick have his nursing license taken away because they're just not a fan. Like,
people are trying to call CPS on Huda.
No, trust me,
it's crazy, right? And just like, it's a younger audience. So with younger audiences, there's a little bit more, reactiveness online and things like that. So I just think, I think it would be tough to do, especially if you're not doing it, especially if if the cast didn't sign up for that. Like, you can't just pick and choose, like, where it's just like, well, now we're going to be righteous and show you everything.
Because, on their off day, they like go to a hotel, you know, like on Saturdays, they go to, I'm pretty sure it's Saturday because that's like the only day they don't.
They like get to go to the beach.
Yeah, they like are off. They're like not mic'd. They're like off days. So it's like
they're not allowed to talk about the show or anything though. There's like crew members like with them when they're demiked, being like,
don't say it.
Don't talk about that.
Oh, they do that on Housewives too. Like, if there's something going on and we're not filming, but we're all in, like, it's like, don't
save it.
Like, don't talk to each other.
But also with various topics, right? Like, depending on if you bring it up, then you got to talk about it. And if you talk about it, then the entire internet is critiquing everything they're saying, and again, these people have been offline, away from their families, away from their support system, truly like don't know what day it is, don't know what time of day it is. Like that's just like, they're truly being, tested in an unfamiliar environment. They signed up for it, they agreed to it, they consented to it, but it's still like a crazy environment. And I do think this cast needs to be protected in that level, and to make that a center of conversation and then have the entire internet nitpick and critique, what they meant, when again, so much can be taken out of context because they don't have the time to show everyone's 3-minute feelings on whatever topic they want to discuss. And I think with that, they, like cast deserves a level of protection.
I think also in like knowing that there's going to be people who watch past seasons like in the future. Like if you're not participating live in this moment, and let's say like somebody just decides to go and binge Love Island, like they don't know. So if they knew, if they were like pointing out the specific reasons of what somebody did wrong to leave the villa, then that could like restart the whole thing over again. Like if you're not participating with when it's like a movement, then I can see why they wouldn't want to like bring it up in future. I don't know. It's interesting just because this whole like, should they show the reality versus should they, well, I was going to compare it to the Valley, but it's completely different. Like, I mean, it just like with the method of thinking of like, well, this is what's real and this is what we're showing. Like
Yeah.
That's a separate rant that I'm sure we could go on. And Nick, I know you hate Jax as much as I do.
Yeah.
But it is totally different. I mean, they're like the Love Island. I mean, the fact that they don't even tell them the time of day, like that is psychologically like crazy.
Yeah. It's so I think we have to try to like have that perspective. And anyways,
I have to say, poor Hannah. She's this whole time while he was with Pepe was with Grayson, she was like, oh my God, he's obsessed with me. He still loves me. Like he's coming back for me. And then he gets coupled up with Iris. And
she's back. She's back with Charlie now, or she's able to.
That's true.
It takes a good 6 months for the dust to settle with these shows and people to start moving how they would move without like feeling like what they think the audience thinks they should do.
Yep, exactly.
TJ there was like a TikTok or something he posted that was like, damn, I can't even go to Target anymore. And it was like, there was like some sign in the background that said Pepe on it. Just unrelated to Love Island. It was like some auto thing. And he was like, damn.
This has been a ton of fun, ladies. We got to let you go, but let's do it again with both of you. So much fun. So Christina, can you let my audience know where they can follow you?
Yes. So I'm Christina Cocca. That's how you say it. Cocca. So my Instagram is Cocca Macoca. It's my last name twice with Ma in the middle, and TikTok's Cocca.
Great. And Monica, I feel like people don't need to know where to find you, but just in case.
It's just Monica Nikki Garcia on Instagram.
Well, I appreciate you ladies for joining us. Up next, TJ and Jaden join us together to answer all your burning questions about what is going down in the villa. How does TJ feel about Iris moving on so quickly? And then just their general thoughts about their experience and the rest of their cast. That is up next.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. The rumors are true. Push-up bras are back and better than ever. Y'all have all heard me rant and rave about my boobs being to my ankles and the saggiest things I've ever seen. But I've been wearing the ultimate teardrop push-up bra from Skims, and I cannot tell you how perfect my boobs look. I used to be so insecure wearing like a V-neck or a low cropped top because I was like, I don't have the boobs for it anymore. But having a baby, breastfeeding, it took them away up until I wore the ultimate teardrop push-up bra from Skims. And now it looks like I have a boob job and it's amazing. Instead of having a ton of padding to give you that unnatural lift, the bra mimics the shape of a full bust. So it actually looks natural. It looks good. It makes you feel confident. It makes me feel confident. Everything that Skims is doing is honestly so great. Their Fits Everybody collection is one of a kind, and it truly is the most flattering, comfortable fabric I've ever felt in my life.
And for the ladies, don't forget that Skims has amazing underwear for men. So while you're getting something for yourself, go ahead and add a pair of underwear for your man. He will thank you, I promise.
Shop the Skims Ultimate Bra collection and more at skims.com and Skims stores. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you, select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Hot days, humid nights, and non-stop plans. All that heat can increase hair shedding, while a packed schedule can add stress, which can impact your hair. Nutrafol's whole body approach and clinically tested formulas support your hair from within so you can focus on living your best life all summer long. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. Anything truly worthwhile takes time and effort, and with Nutrafol, see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. I can't tell you a product I believe more in. I've taken Nutrafol for maybe 5-6 years now. I've taken it for so long. I truly feel like my hair is in the best state it's ever been in. I took the postpartum after I gave birth to River, and I really think that dominated my postpartum hair thinning. And I truly can't say enough amazing things about Nutrafol. I've put Nick's mom onto it. My mom takes it. I recommend it to everyone. Every time I go to the hair salon, I hear stylists recommending it to other people. It's just such a great product, and it truly does work. With summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code VIALL. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL.
TJ and Jaden, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you both. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
So I just out of curiosity, where you guys are back stateside. TJ, where are you calling from? I don't need your exact location. Like, people are crazy out there.
I'm currently in New York with my family, and then I'm headed to LA tomorrow.
How about you, Jaden?
I'm in Seattle right now, also heading to LA tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, it's obviously been a crazy run for both of you. So much to get into, but like, just how are you guys feeling, just kind of mentally, physically? Obviously, it's such a whirlwind to get out of this show. And obviously, I'm always reminded that fan is short for fanatics. The fans are definitely fanatic about you guys in this show. I don't know if you guys fully were prepared for what it's like to come out of the villa, but like, how are you guys doing mentally, emotionally? What's it like?
I'm honestly all right. I'm super overwhelmed, but I think coming out of the villa, I thought that there was going to be a lot of hate towards me, and it was kind of the opposite, and I'm still getting a lot of love. So just super grateful, to be honest.
It's definitely been super overwhelming, but in a good way. And I feel like I'm just really grateful to see all of the positive feedback that I've got. And that makes me really happy. But I feel like my time was kind of short and sweet. So I did not expect after the villa to be this intense or overwhelming.
And what's been the most intense part?
Maybe just the social media presence. I was not good at social media before this at all. I wasn't very good at social media, so I feel a little bit more pressure to try and be.
Yeah,
well, if I can give you any advice, both of you, I mean, the internet is the matrix. It's like, it's not real. You should post and dash. Like, just don't sit on it. Who gives a fuck what people say? Just keep them talking.
I will say it was a great song choice you chose for your photo dump, TJ.
Oh, Jesus.
What did you pick?
Don't get me
You picked
started.
Iris by Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh, no. The man's in
It was
love.
a good idea.
Well, speaking of that, TJ, I am curious what your thoughts are, because obviously America really enjoyed watching you and Iris form this connection. It really seemed like, this season, like, having a connection was the kiss of death. It's like, oh, I think I'm feeling feelings,
Yeah.
and then boom, you get assassinated. I think we're all a little surprised to see, Iris was devastated. She was crying. She seemed really heartbroken. She was like, I don't know how I'm going to move on. Maybe I should just, oh, Pepe. Are you of the mindset that it's like, hey, listen, it's the show. It is what it is. Or are you a little, I know you have a ton of respect for Iris, but are you a little caught off guard by how fast she seems to be forming this connection with Pepe?
Yeah, definitely. I want to act all cool and like it's not affecting me at all, but I would be lying if I was acting that way. I think watching the episode last night definitely like broke my heart, and it was real for me, and I didn't care about the prize money or anything. She was the prize for me, and it sucks seeing them too. It was like two of my best friends, so it was like a double whammy. But I see the other side as, it's both of their experience, and I didn't want her to leave with me. And, I'm glad she found someone that makes her happy, and that's all I could ask for. And I just hope it's genuine. And, But yeah, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't
Yeah,
affecting me, for
it's
sure.
gotta be tough, you know. I'm sure you try to put yourself in her shoes. Like, what would you do if the roles were reversed?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation. So, nothing against them whatsoever. Like, it is a super tough situation. They're locked in this place, no contact to the outside world. Whether it's Pepe or another person, they're right in front of them. I'm no longer connected with her whatsoever. So, I think it's just, Love Island's built
Yeah.
for that. And I can't hate on it. I believe everything happens for a reason. And, if she's happy, I'm happy and I support
Yeah,
it.
because it seemed like you and Pepe kind of had a nice heart to heart, like right before the whole voting off, and Pepe spoke to your and Iris's connection, like you guys have something real, and then he didn't vote to keep you, and then kind of swooped in.
Yeah, I think his vote surprised me the most. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my reaction when he walked by me, but I was super happy that he was walking up to me and then he said I'm sorry and my head kind of just dropped and that was shocking because he was like, my older brother in there and I have two younger brothers. I don't have an older brother and he was just like my guy. So it sucks, but I also understand like he's in there for himself and I just hope like at that time in his head he thought voting for Taylor was the right decision. And that's at the end of the day, that's all I
Did
can
he
ask for,
say,
you know?
did you get any context or say why after the vote? I know you had a quick 30 minutes to say all your goodbyes, but did you get any insight into why he made that call for Taylor?
Not exactly. Like, everyone's super upset when someone leaves, and it's always just like, you know, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't want it to be this way. It's a tough choice, and you kind of have to be okay with that. Half of me wants to be like, why the hell did you vote for him? But, the other half is like, I completely understand because it was tough for, Jaden, Austin, Andrina, Grayson, and, the rest of us leaving. So, I didn't get a complete answer, but what are you going to do?
Jaden, you being obviously the most recent person to enter the villa via Casa Amor, had you been in Fiji the whole time or had you just recently gone for Casa?
No, that was actually my second time going to Fiji.
Oh.
I went in the beginning and then I went home and then I came back for Casa. So yeah, back and forth.
It's a lot of flying.
Get those miles. Wow.
Yeah.
Why? What happened the first go around?
I don't know. I think I was really nervous about going on the show in general. I feel like the whole experience is super out of my comfort zone. So I feel like it was the best decision to bring me in with a group of girls. I feel like I wouldn't have had it any other way now that that's how it happened.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you obviously like watch the show as it's airing? I think I've been told that like you're supposed to, so that way you kind of know who you want to go in there for. Is that right? I think some people have kind of been under the impression that maybe the newer bombshells or people from Casa like kind of came in and was like, hey, this is what America's thinking. Cause it, like Amaya Papaya, like that's something that us as America called her. And then they started calling her that in the villa. Like Nicolandria is what we referred to them as. And then like they started referring to themselves as. So it's like, is that kind of something that when y'all go in, you're like, oh my God, we have to tell y'all like what's been going viral? Who's the most loved? Is any of that told? Oh.
No. No. I mean, we have a mic on 24 hours a day, basically. So, no, we're not supposed to talk about anything that's going on the outside to anybody on the inside.
Okay. Jaden, can we go back to when Casa was still going on, when you initially paired up with Austin, which was a big moment at the time when we all thought Nick was getting sent home, or I don't know if anyone really believed it, but for a moment, it seemed like Nick was going home. And a lot of the fans clocked what seemed to be when they got up and to kind of comfort Nick, that Ace kind of looked at you and kind of gave you the, what the fuck was that? Did that happen? And did you notice Ace making you try to feel a certain way? And were any of your tears in that moment of feeling bad have anything to do with Ace?
In that very moment, I was so overwhelmed and crying, I did not notice him make that comment in that moment, but I did definitely feel some type of maybe animosity or just He was definitely upset, and I felt like it was directed at me. He did not say anything specifically to me that was negative. And we did have a conversation after the fact before going to sleep that night, and he did come to me and apologize. So I do feel like those negative feelings were real, or I don't know why he was apologizing.
I mean, the apology at least seems sincere because I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Nick's his boy, and he was sad to see him go, and you know, if he has the right to feel a certain way about it, and if he felt like he came at you a little strong, I'm glad he at least apologized.
I agree. It did feel sincere. It made me feel a lot better.
TJ, we had Vanna on. She seemed a little bummed that her response to you picking Iris wasn't aired. I guess she maybe had some opinions of y'all's time together. Did any of that she said hurt your feelings?
It didn't hurt my feelings. I felt like we kind of knew that. We both knew that. I think that initially when I first spoke to her, everything was all good. We hit it off. And then just like as the days went on, we just didn't really get along at all. We are just two different people. And, you know, by the last conversation we had before that night, I think it was that day, we just both knew that this probably wasn't going anywhere. And I didn't specifically say like, I'm going to choose Iris at the recoupling if she walks up to me, but you know, I feel like she probably guessed that. And I think that last conversation with her really put into my mind, like where I was at with who I wanted to be with. But yeah, we were just two different
I think she said you don't
people
like to laugh.
Yeah. You know, I think it was just,
Well,
you know, Iris being away.
I was defending you. I was like, well, if you're not funny, you know, it's like me.
No, but I mean, she's great. We just had different senses of humor, and I'm pretty serious when it comes to like, I guess, emotions and like relationships. And she was like kind of joking around and stuff. And you know, again, we're just two different people, but she's great, and I'm happy that you know we spent some time together, but it just didn't end up working out.
Jaden, you got sent home, which sucked, but it seemed like at the time, you know, you and Austin left the villa holding hands. And you know, watching you two, I see why you guys got together. You seem both kind of like you have these goofy personalities and senses of humor. Neither of you seem like you guys take, you know, I mean, this is a compliment, life like too seriously. And I saw the chemistry between the two of you. But obviously, like, being in that world is such a mind fuck, and like it doesn't even seem like reality. And like once you can get on the plane and go home, a lot can change. From your perspective, is you and Austin a thing? Are you guys still talking, or is it kind of like, you know, I don't know?
I would say it's still a thing. We're still talking. We had such a good time in the villa. I don't think we wanted to stop now, but we do live on like completely opposite ends of the country. We couldn't be further apart.
Perfect.
So I think time will tell. I will see him this week, and we're excited to get together.
Okay. What was it about that relationship that excited you the most?
I feel like it was so easy. Like from our first conversation, it feels like I had known him for a very long time. And we we were always upset we couldn't keep talking at the end of the day. Like we just couldn't get enough of each other. So I feel like it was just really easy and a good time.
TJ, I'm curious, back to you and Iris. I'm curious, like your mindset, right? Because this is your first time doing this experience. You don't know what to expect. None of you know what to, you know, you don't know what you signed up for, so to speak. But from your perspective, are you going to be like watching how things unfold, or is it just more like, are you willing to pursue something with Iris regardless of what you see unfold, short of Iris and Pepe being like, we're in love, which you know, and there's not much of the show left. I don't know how much more that connected they could be to each other than you two were. Like, what is your mindset? Or are you have you been turned off by the possibility of something with Iris altogether?
So again, it definitely hurts. But I have to remind myself, like, not everything is shown. And you know, things may look a certain way or portrayed a certain way. So that's always in the back of my mind. I think the best thing when she comes out is just for me and her to have a conversation and just like get the straight up facts and then make my decision then. But I would be lying if, I said that didn't, turn me off or like make me not want to pursue things with her. It's definitely a tough position, like watching that. But at the end of the day, not everything is shown, and I'm just trying to look at everything in the positive, and
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you seem like you have a good outlook on it. I am curious if it's not too much or not too hurtful for you, but I am curious, like you guys seem to make a strong connection, but from your perspective, forgetting about her and Pepe for now, like what were some of the conversations that you guys had, regardless if we got to see it or didn't get to see it, that really made you feel like there was some real potential with Iris?
Yeah, I feel like from the day I met her, I told her like I love the way that she carries herself, how mature she is, the advice she gives to other girls in the villa, and that she was super unproblematic. And I'm like the same way. I hate drama. I hate all that shit. And we just connected on a vibe that like I didn't connect with anybody else, even like some of the guys. Like I know a lot wasn't shown. I didn't watch every episode, but we would be just chilling all day. We would like fucking throw grapes in each other's mouth from across the villa. It was just like we would have fun together, and it was like the cameras weren't there, and I was just super comfortable with her. But it was real to me, and hopefully it was super genuine to her as well. And that's all I could really ask for. But she's a great person all around, and I never really felt that way with someone. Obviously, like the situation that we were in, stranded, like just with these people had to do with that. But I think I would have felt the same way on the outside.
Jaden, obviously Grayson is your girl. What was your reaction to finding out that Huda wrote the note about Pepe that got her so upset?
Oh my goodness. I was so sad to hear that because I feel like Huda and I had a really good relationship. So when we were told that on After Sun, I was honestly shocked. She didn't seem too shocked, but I do know Huda, and like I feel like she probably, it looked as though she regretted it, and I'm sure she did. And I feel like when that was read aloud, I think she regretted it in that moment, and that's why she didn't speak up. I think she was embarrassed, and if she could go back, I don't think she would.
So much has been the phrase "girl's girl" has really peaked this season of Love Island, and it's certainly not the first time we've heard it. It seems to be an overused term. I am curious, Jaden, like what do you think of that saying, and what do you think that means to you? And do you feel like, especially in the villa, that is something that the women there sincerely something they believe in, or is it more like this kind of performative thing that you say just like, hey, just I'm a girl's girl, not even thinking about what that means or like what actions would represent being a girl's girl?
Honestly, before going on the show, I feel like girls who typically say they're a girl's girl, most of the time I feel like it's more odd, and maybe you're not, because otherwise why do you need to say it?
Right.
I definitely think a girl's girl is just having loyalty with your friends, with your girls, and being communicative with them and letting them know how you feel all the time and just being super transparent. I feel like that's the most important part. But yeah, I think most of the girls in there are girls. Like, I do think that we all do our best to be respectful of each other's relationships, but I do think that term sometimes is used maybe a little too loosely.
Do you feel like Sierra choosing Taylor over Iris kind of made that girl's girl a little less possible for Sierra?
I mean, they were very close, Iris and Sierra.
Yeah, it was like her dream, like what, throuple or something?
Yeah, I think we were all surprised when she stood behind Taylor.
That's where we.
And I was curious. I mean, I didn't know how many people were standing behind each of us. Was she like the tiebreaker?
I don't know.
If she would have gone with Audrina,
she could have saved Audrina. At that point, she couldn't have saved TJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, TJ.
Still would have felt good.
I'm curious. This question for both of you, and I, as someone who knows what it's like to be in the world, like I wasn't on Love Island, and years ago I was a part of the Bachelor franchise, but similar in the sense that you guys are isolated from the world. You're thrown into what is essentially a very carefully crafted social experiment, and I'm trying to explain to the audience often like what it's like to be in that atmosphere. So for one, like to just give all of you a little bit of grace, because it's terrifying, right? And why it's very much like everyone resorts to like high school behavior and things like that. And I don't even mean this in a bad way, but I'm curious what you think of this. Is that like I feel like a lot of the friendship making early on, I think eventually people start connecting with people and making friendships. But like a lot of the perceived friendships early on are just people trying to like not be alone, right? Because it's so terrifying to walk in there and not have your emotional support system, not have access to any friends. You're just by yourself and you just don't want to feel alone. And do you feel like being a part of the villa and just observing your peers, do you feel like some people faked friendships more than others, even if it was for the reasons of like just not wanting to feel isolated, be alone? And I feel that that's why like Amaya has really stood out to people, or even Austin at times, because I felt like Amaya and Austin were a few of the people who would like truly say what they think, regardless if they thought it was a popular decision. And I feel like that's very rare in these atmospheres because it is so terrifying to not be part of the group or the majority in these types of shows. I was just curious what you guys think about all that.
Well, one, I think Austin is a dog. He's the realest guy I've ever met. He didn't care if you liked him, didn't like him, and I have nothing bad to say about him. He spoke his mind, but I do understand that completely. I feel like when I came in the first few days, I was super quiet. Like I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, and I was just trying to be friends with everyone. And eventually, like I got out of that shell, but I definitely I could see that. I can't specifically say like if I saw someone doing that or whatnot, but I feel like that's definitely something that I could see from people. Yeah, I don't know if Jaden, you've seen that, but
I would agree with you that when I went in, I think I tried to be friends with everybody, and then I think through that process, you find people that you're obviously closer to and bond with stronger than others. And like I don't know, some of those people were different from what I thought by watching the show before and then meeting everyone in person.
Ooh, who was more different from your perception versus your reality?
Well, I told Huda and I ended up sharing a closet for some time, and I was like terrified. I told Nicolandria, I was like, oh no, I'm in Huda's closet. Like I took over her entire space, and I was like, and as soon as I met her, I told her, I'm so sorry I'm in your closet. Like I was scared. I told her I was scared to be in your all up in your space. And she was the nicest human ever. She's so nice. She gave me 75% of that closet. And like I feel like even Amaya was a little nervous about just because of the recoupling with Austin. And she also speaks her mind. So I was like, oh no, I hope this isn't going to be a negative encounter. And it was nothing but positive.
Were there any people who were less sweet than you anticipated?
Honestly, not really. All the girls are so nice. I think definitely like some were more welcoming than others, but I feel like all of them were sweet.
Just curious, generally, just how you guys see the rest of the season playing out. I think a lot of fans want to know, is Nicolandria the real deal, or are these two people understanding the assignment?
I don't know how I feel, to be completely honest. I know that when they were coupled up after getting kicked from Casa, I knew that Nick was super interested in pursuing things. My whole thing with why I'm a little iffy is because I feel like they tried and, they had that kiss and they both said like, all right, like there's nothing there. And now they're kind of trying it again. But I also see that now Sierra's not here. So maybe that helps to trying to be like more open. So I'm like a little iffy. I don't know, but I'm not one to doubt.
It's tough because it was like her, their reasoning for like not continuing was like, oh, Taylor was in the back of my mind and Sierra was in the back of my mind. And like, for both of them, it was like Sierra was her girl, Taylor was her connection. And
I mean,
vice
Nicolandria
versa.
was like,
it's like,
it's like kissing my brother. So now I'm more like, like, what is like still?
No, I get it. I could see there being something there, but I also see how it could just be like a little facade. Just, they tried it, it didn't work, but now they're, Taylor and Sierra are out of the picture. So,
both, I'm curious, both your opinions, both as viewers, watching it before you got on, because you guys were, Casa and Bombshells, and then being in the villa. I think a lot of fans are just a little frustrated with this season, and they've called it like Friendship Island. Nick and Sierra were the only closed off couple, and now obviously that doesn't exist. Why do you feel like, or do you have any read on why there's been a lack of like real meaningful connections like we got to see in season 6? And we have 3 relationships that are still going strong, and it just hasn't happened for whatever reason this season. I'm curious if you guys have any perspective or opinion on that.
I think a lot of this season has been like splitting the most strong connections up, which is weird a little, but I do like even Hood and Jeremiah, they had some conflict in their relationship, but they were obviously very strong. Yeah. They had a strong couple, and that ended. And then I feel like Hannah and Pepe had a strong relationship that ended. Luckily, Austin and I got to leave together, and we'll see what happens now. But same with Iris and TJ. I feel like so many of the strongest connections have just been dumped.
I mean, even before Hannah and Pepe, we had Hannah and Charlie, and they ripped Charlie away from her.
Exactly. I don't know why that's been happening this season, but that's my personal opinion. I feel like why it's kind of become like more a friendship island.
Well, there is one strong connection that I feel like America has been very resistant to accept, and that is Taylor and Clarke. Say what you want, but like they seem like they really like each other. And Clarke seems to have received a lot of, it seems like, unfair criticism simply just because she's not Nicolandria. And while we love Nicolandria, I mean, Clarke seems like a pretty swell person. I'm just curious, like, what's your read, especially you, Jaden, who you were in Casa with her. Do you feel like people need to start chilling out on Clarke and opening up to the possibility of seeing her positive qualities?
Absolutely. I love Clarke. I would say her and I were maybe that was my closest friend in there. And from the moment Taylor and Clarke had a conversation, like you could just tell there's chemistry from across the villa. Like they're laughing, kissing, touching. Like their smiles never go away when they're together, and they are always trying to find each other, even in moments when we're supposed to be a little separated. Like they are just inseparable, and I definitely see that relationship well beyond the villa. Like they have a very, very undeniably strong connection.
Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if the most successful couple from this season is those two.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I would agree.
Yeah.
What is, TJ, I'm just curious, what is your read on, I think it's kind of died down a little bit, but, well, first of all, is Ace 5'10"?
I don't have a tape measure, so I can't like put a number on it, but,
maybe not.
I don't want to put a number on his head.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
All right.
Are you 5'11"?
No, I'm actually 6 foot. I've been getting that a lot, though.
I mean, I find Ace to be very funny, very charming. He's obviously a very dynamic individual. But did you feel like he had almost had too much sway and control over like the villa and the people in it, or has that been overplayed a little bit?
I definitely can see it. I feel like he does have a strong opinion. Everyone kind of like really hears him out. And I think that they always take that into account. But at the end of the day, everyone has their own decision. I feel like throughout my time, I kept asking the guys like, hey, listen, like we need a criteria. Like when we vote people out, like why are we voting them out? Is it because they're not exploring, or is it because they don't have a strong connection, or is it because they have a strong connection? Like which one is it? And like, I personally never got an answer because I was getting to the point, with Iris where it was super strong. And I'm like, shit, I don't want to get voted out because I'm not exploring, even though I've talked to every girl there. So it was just, that was tough because there's never really an answer and it always changes. And I wish that was like something that everyone could mutually agree on. But it just never was. But getting back to Ace, sorry. I
appreciate that explanation because to me, it's saying like that you didn't get an answer because one, maybe they didn't know or they didn't want to commit to anything, and it had more to do with, saving their friends or a popularity contest and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it gets to a point where it's like, okay, we're coming towards the end of the show. Like we need to start establishing strong connection. It's not always, okay, you haven't explored the last week, like we're going to kick you out. Like I don't really understand that and resonate with that. So that's like where my opinion kind of differed, because I feel like, the rest of the guys, especially Ace, Pepe, they were known for saying, hey, I want to explore until like the very last day, week, couple episodes. So that's kind of like where we differed. But yeah, I don't know.
TJ, did you know when you were coming in for your bombshell entrance, did you know that it was going to be with Megan Thee Stallion, or?
I didn't know at first, but like, right before, obviously they told me. I did my like, walk out and stuff. And she was there. But yeah, I think that was like one of the craziest bombshell walkouts possible.
Pretty cool,
so
man.
I'm just super
You
grateful.
got a story to tell your grandkids.
Well, I know you guys have to go. We appreciate your time. Thank you, TJ and Jaden. We really enjoyed watching you both, and good luck the rest of the way. Stay offline. Don't read the comments. Enjoy, like, honestly, enjoy this shit, man. It should be a lot of fun, but just like post and dash, man. Like, don't like let the fans be fanatic, and just none of that shit matters. Like, this is a crazy time. I hope you guys make the most of it. So best of luck the rest of the way. Jaden, I hope you and Austin, good luck, whatever it's supposed to be.
I can't wait to see all of your posts, Jaden. You have a lot of TikToks you got to catch up on. You got to get going.
Where can people follow you if they want to follow you guys?
Oh, Jaden Ashley D.
I'm a TJ Palma on everything.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Good luck the rest of the way, and we appreciate you.
Thank
you so much.
Thanks for having us.
OpenPhone is the smart, modern phone system built for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and growing teams who can't afford to miss a call or customer connection. By combining calls, texting, team collaboration, and after-hours AI support in one easy app, OpenPhone helps you stay responsive, professional, and always one step ahead.
OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customers' communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. That way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, say goodbye to voicemail. Their AI agent can be set up in minutes to handle calls after hours, answer questions, and capture leads, so you never miss a customer.
So whether you're a one-person operation drowning in calls and texts or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. OpenPhone is offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/VIALL. That is OpenPhone, OPENPHONE.com/VIALL. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, well, before we catch up on the Valley, which just only gets darker, they're just like, people just keep telling us it's gonna like, no way, it lightens up. And then now we have Janet throwing out the word sexual assault, like inciting the definition. Although Kristen and Luke got engaged, so.
Yay, I know, I feel so bad.
Yeah, that was
Kristen kept
exciting.
being like, just wait until my engagement episode. Just wait. It's like so sweet. I get engaged finally. And then it felt like it was completely trumped.
Well, that
by
part was really sweet. It was the
Janet.
next episode where you're supposed
It
to
was
still be
cute.
basking in her happiness.
Yeah.
But before we do get to the Valley, the Golden Bachelor is turning into a hot mess before we even get started. His ex-wife has recently come forward, or at least she was asked by the Daily Mail in a headline where, like, I guess it was, they got divorced. He was ordered to pay $1 million, which always sounds like, a headline will get you, because I guess in divorce, that's kind of what happens. But, it's just like, well, why does he owe her $1 million? What did he do wrong?
And also, like, how long ago did they get divorced?
2020.
Like, what? Okay. So why in 2025 is she like,
Well,
I guess if she was asked, how did the divorce go? But it's like, why?
True to his word, his ex-wife is a bit younger than him. So it tracks with his most recent controversial statements, which personally I have no issue with, but it's just like not the show,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, at all.
You know what? Usually
Yeah.
this stuff all comes out after the season, I feel like. And I feel like if they haven't filmed it yet, why not?
I don't
replace
know.
this
I-
He
guy?
did it to himself. He like thought it's like, I don't know if he thought no one was going to listen to this obscure random football podcast, or if he just was like, I don't care if this is what people hear. But either way,
I think
it's
he
not
just-
like someone like dug up a restraining order on him. It was like, no, so you showed your true colors before we
Exactly.
even had to.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
I think he just underestimated Bachelor Nation.
Well, that's the
Bachelor
thing, is
Nation
that
is
the
gonna Bachelor
internet
Nation.
is going, if we've learned
Mhm.
anything in the last couple of months, the
True.
internet is going to find your shit.
Yeah.
So in this
Which
case,
is honestly,
we found it early.
I saw someone, I wish I could remember the creator's name. I saw someone on TikTok do like a long breakdown of this. And it's honestly so true of like how we as like a society, we fall in love with characters, we build them up, we like stan them, we make them ultra famous, we get them all these followers, we like make fan edits of them, we become obsessed with them. And then it's like when we've gotten to the peak of that, then people are like, oh no, well, now we need to tear them down. So let's go dig for anything we can possibly find and dig and dig and dig and dig until we can find something that like it's giving jealousy. So they want some sort of control over like their career. And so it's like of like canceling them, you know, because they're like, they got here. Now I'm going to be a part of canceling them.
But that's different than what's going on with Mel.
No, I know. I was just saying like in general.
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, like Love Island. I mean, we already talked about this, but I mean,
But it's not even just these two shows. Like it's literally, it's influencers. It's random like
it's
people
just society at large.
It's just what the society has started to do. And it's like getting really icky.
Yeah, no, totally. But I just would have thought that like when they're casting their next Golden Bachelor, at least pick some guy who like gets along with his ex and not someone who's going to say, and I quote, well, good luck. I mean, it's going to be bad. But anyway, I don't want to be involved in this.
I'm sure from Mel's perspective, they're on great terms. I'm sure he was asked, like, how's your relationship with your exes? He was probably like, fine, good.
They couldn't make a call. They couldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to take your word for it. But like, could we just give her a ring and just be like, what? If you're going to be the Golden Bachelor and you have an ex-wife and she's still alive, right? Like they love a widow, but like Mel isn't a widow. They should have called her. They should have been like, listen, what do you think of Mel? Would you support him being the Golden Bachelor? That's an easy call to make. No?
Yeah, like for job interviews, you have to list references and they're going to call your...
Yeah,
they may not.
If you're going to get this gig, you know, there's one person in America that you're going to cast and they have a living ex-wife, you got to make that call.
A lot of exes are going to hype it up though. Like how many are going to be like, yeah, like he can be the Bachelor.
Again, I understand that most wouldn't like, yeah, I get it's hard to find, but this is the Golden Bachelor. This is your flagship show. Like do your homework. Find the one guy whose ex-wife, if their ex-wife's still alive, and they're like, you know what, couldn't work out, but I'm rooting for them.
They don't exist.
They exist.
No.
Do you think he's not being recast because they already cast the women for him and they don't want to hold up production?
Nobody was like, oh, I'm going to sign up for the show because of Mel Owens.
But they also probably now, like, I don't know if they're filming right now, I imagine. I don't know. But it's like they definitely, if they didn't hear about the comments, like, he said them before they started filming.
Yeah,
so like these women, if I'm these women and I read this about this man that I'm about to go date, and then they're like, nope, sorry, you're stuck with him. I'm pissed. Like, I don't want to date you. I'm pulling out. I don't like, you know, I'm 64. You don't want anyone older than 60. Like, what am I doing
That's
here?
another thing. If they wanted a Golden Bachelor who was open to dating women around his age, they picked a guy whose ex-wife is 46.
Do you think there could ever be a season of the Golden Bachelor like this where it really is just you watch all the women dunk on him the entire season and it's just about the friends we made along the way? Or no?
Yeah, it was called Juan Pablo's season.
Oh. Yeah.
They did that once. It was really popular, you know? I don't know.
Where they hated on him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was truly, the show turned on him. He was just an ass to all the women. It was, in the show, it was like, fuck it. Like, they made him the villain.
Like lean in. Wow.
But if you're doing that and the second season of The Golden Bachelor, something's horribly wrong. This is supposed to be nostalgic. Yeah. It's supposed to be sweet. You're supposed to cry, wholesome. You're supposed to this is supposed to give people in their golden years hope to find human connections.
And he's honestly like playing into what I feel like is every older woman's insecurity of like, oh, they just want someone younger. It's like, why would they want to date me? They'll just go younger. Like I hear that from my mom all the time. And so it's like, he's literally just feeding into that.
Yeah.
And why have your Golden Bachelor do that?
Mel, if that's fine, if that's what he wants, but why didn't they just pick, the there are men out there
who do want to date women in their age range.
They do, you know,
they do exist.
That's the thing about this show is that like the beauty of the Golden franchise is how genuine it is and how like wholesome it is, and like these people aren't trying to be famous because like
they picked a guy with him going through a kind of a messy divorce.
He's still going through it. Like,
well, no, I'm sorry. It's just like
they
was like
recently
finalized in
finalized
2024.
Yeah,
is what you said.
Yeah, the end. Of
she didn't have to say,
like 8
well,
months ago.
It's going to be terrible. I want nothing to do with it.
Good luck.
I don't know.
Honestly, I'd probably
It
be
is a
petty and say that
bummer.
too. Like, even if we had the bestest of relationship, I'd probably be like, yeah.
Did they? No.
You know, like, I feel like you really want to watch your ex-husband go on and be like one of the most famous men for 6 months, and he's dating all these women, and he's on Good Morning America and The View, and like, really, you want to watch your ex-husband do all that?
I just would have picked someone who like where she's moved on. And
It's not about being not moved on. It's just about being like,
I don't know. This quote sounds like she has a point of view, a reason to say it.
Yeah, I don't think it would exist. I don't think there's an ex-wife out there that would want their husband to become a national heartthrob.
Well, I don't know. I think
I
that
feel like
I
we're
think that it
just-
really matters about the relationship.
I mean, I feel like it probably goes both ways. Like, I don't know if there's guys who would be like, oh, hell yeah, let's put my ex-wife
Exactly.
up there.
It's less of a hell yeah, and it's more of a before the season even started filming, they got to her and they already got a juicy quote. Like
I think it's just like every ex, we've seen this play out. Every single ex, whether it was for years or months or weeks, they're always coming out. They're always
I
saying
guess so.
something. They're
I guess-
always pissed or bitter or petty.
I'm just more surprised that their Golden Bachelor has an ex-wife who's 46 years old. So clearly,
What if he fucked her over? And she's like,
either way, I'm just saying, like, they wanted to pick someone who wanted to date in their age range. It's becoming more
We've
of
got
like,
2 strikes.
what did this guy do in the casting process? Who did he have, like, you know, like, why did they pick him? I've heard he's stiff in the media. Like, he's not, you know, Gary, for all his flaws, was very charismatic and like played the role well. Like, I haven't
made good
heard this
TV.
guy.
has he been doing like press opportunities?
No, but I've heard he's a bit stiff, you know, and then the one press he did do, you know, he didn't have the,
And no one at
The media
Bachelor,
training.
no one from Bachelor has said anything about this. Like, they've just no one's acknowledged it.
there were rumors that Mel was going to be replaced, but then Jesse Palmer, host of the Bachelor franchise, was asked about it, and he said, "Well, I'm definitely going to have to address these comments with Mel." So if the host is speaking on that, then that tells me that he's not getting it. He's not
Like,
getting
he's
replaced.
addressing them like during filming, because that feels
Like, that's
a
what we
little
want to
bit
like
too
focus
late.
our attention on. Like,
it just feels like a little late in the game to be.
To Nick's point, you have a whole last season of Perfect Men on Joan's season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we
they're all
chose
in
someone.
paradise.
Well, we chose true, yeah. But we chose someone that's literally fumbling the ball, like replace them with.
Well,
one
if
of
we
them.
were gonna pick somebody with an age restriction, like we could have gone for that other guy, the French dude who was like
Pascal.
Yeah, Pascal.
He would have been drama though.
But the reason that we didn't go for Pascal was because he was like anti having women over a certain age, remember? And
Yeah.
it's like if we're gonna cast someone who has that, like let it be Pascal.
Maybe Mel has dirt on some of the producers.
I don't know.
Right, I was
Let him
thinking, I
know.
was like,
I
what
did
does
think
Mel
about
have?
that.
What blackmail
Yeah.
does Mel have
He
on
came
these
out of
people?
nowhere, so I did think about that.
Uh-huh.
You know what they always say, like, on paper he's great, but like on paper Mel is definitely not great.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, what if Denise Richards, now ex-husband, becomes our next Golden Bachelor?
Guys, this is
I'm
so
so
sad.
sad for Denise.
I know.
It's really giving.
I know.
We did not get a chance to meet Aaron. Denise always spoke highly of him to us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You should text her and just be like,
I already
sending
did.
you love. Oh my God. What'd you say?
Mhm.
I said, "We love you. I'm so sorry you're going through this, and we're always here for you." And she gave me a quick heart, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to pry anymore.
It's just
He filed
like-
for divorce. It sounds
yeah.
like he's going after her money.
He also wants all of his power tools. He listed it twice. He wants both his cordless and electric tools.
He's trying to,
Oh
yeah. He's
my
claiming that
God.
he spends $100,000 a month. And I assume that's him trying to fight for spousal support from Denise in the tune of
Mhm.
$100,000 a month.
It's so icky.
Him saying he really wants his tools is the most like performative
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like, I must have my tools. I'm a man and I have manly things I have to
Mhm.
do.
I know how to use them.
and I don't want to have to
Here's a
purchase
list
them
of all the tools that I have.
Yeah. God. Denise Richards is just the sweetest soul.
Also,
She
like,
doesn't
no
deserve this.
shade, but like they were living in these like townhouses. How does he need over $100,000 a month?
Definitely doesn't need it, but he's
no, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
how is he saying that that's what his
Mhm.
monthly expenses are when we've seen them living in this townhouse? He drives just like a truck.
I'm sure he had to itemize it in his his divorce papers. In fairness, though, I do think Denise and the Wild things just got more interesting. He never really brought anything to the table.
Have they
No.
started
No offense,
filming
Aaron.
season 2 yet?
I don't know, but if they haven't picked it up yet, I would think now would be.
Right time.
It's supposed to be lighthearted though, so it's like if you take a divorce route, it's the Valley all over again.
But we've also had recently like Sammy getting on TikTok and claiming her sister is, all of these horrible things. And it's like, if
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah, they've been
that
fighting a
seems like
lot.
that's just their life. So it's like, what are they filming if not these things?
Denise, if you're out
Yeah.
there, just know that we are hugging you and we love you. And I have so much love and respect for Denise. I don't know her that well. From what I've gotten to know, she has a heart of gold. She's one of the more down to earth reality TV stars, and she's not even like calling her reality TV star is selling her short. She is a star.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. She's just such a sweetheart.
She's an actress.
She deserves happiness.
She's not a reality star. How
Yeah,
dare you?
She's a star, but who became a reality TV star and has always been gracious and humble, in my experience. And I'm just sad to hear she's going through this. All right, let's
Me
get to
too.
the Valley. Well, again, congratulations to Kristen, Doty, and Luke. We love them, friends of ours. I just love to see, Kristen's story in terms of everything she's gone through over the years, what we've watched on the show, and now they have their child. They're now new parents, and we got to finally see their engagement. Solid engagement.
No,
was
it was the most
cute.
Kristen
So
thing ever.
cute.
Him being like, your ass looks great. She's like, what? Stop it. And he's like, turn around. She's like, no, hold on. What the fuck?
that was literally me the day that Danny proposed to me. He like kept trying to get me to like get my nails done and like kept trying to like get me to get myself together. And I was just being so annoying about it. I was like, why am I gonna get my nails done? Like, and then I went to pick this crazy color and he was like, maybe you should just get like a light pink. And I was like, why? Why do you care so much about the color of my nails? And then like it came time to like do the proposal and he's like, we're gonna go on a walk. And I was just like, it's 100 degrees outside. I don't want to go for a walk. What are you talking about? Like,
I'm shocked he still
It
went
was
through
So
with it.
cute.
He's like, you know what? We'll circle back in a couple months, see if I still want to do this.
yeah, he was just like, you know what? Fine. We'll wait for winter, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, thank God he doesn't believe in signs.
Right. Yeah. And then I peed on my dress.
Oh my
Girl.
God. You poor thing.
Some details you can leave out.
Sorry.
Why did you
Before.
like out of pure
Details.
happiness or
No. I was like, fine, I'll go on this walk with you. Let me just go pee. And then I was wearing a skirt and it got, and I was like, whatever. And then I went on
No,
the
I know.
walk
I'm missing
anyway.
the
And I
part where
got
you just-
engaged
Was
and
it was it dry by the point you got like photos?
No, but the first thought in my head was like, wow, I'm wearing a skirt that I just
Have
peed
you like
on.
not figured out how to use the toilet quite yet? Or
yeah, like you're
how did
saying it
you-
as if like just sometimes you pee. your
I don't wear
pants.
skirts so often, and it got in the toilet.
You're like, I
and
didn't
peed
know
on
how
it.
to pull down a skirt. I don't wear them.
Well, do you pull down your skirt when you pee, or do you lift it up?
I probably pull it down because I'm already having to pull my panties down. So I would just pull both down.
You
instead
lift
of
it
pulling
up?
one down and pulling one up.
I lift it
that feels
up.
like too much.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
then
I don't.
Maybe that's where I
I
went
don't.
wrong.
It's been a minute since I've worn a skirt, but I think I was often lifting it up.
I lift it up.
Yeah.
You lift it up.
Don't
and
some
you
people
didn't
just
lift
free
it all
ball
the way
under the
up.
skirt?
I didn't lift it up.
Yeah.
You didn't
I
lift
mean,
it
I
up.
guess you can free ball under the skirt. I think it depends on how.
Why don't we
confident
pull
in
down?
the world you are, or how short?
I don't need
I was pulling it up. I don't know. Pulling it down is like such a.
Well, I think it's like
Well,
if
what do you do
you
with
have
your
it-
on the
pants?
floor.
Let's say
You pull it
it's
down, I
a
mean,
short.
it's
let's
like
say it's
same
a short
motion.
like but let's say it's a short skirt that's like a little tight, and then you're like I don't
Oh,
have to
yeah, if it's
all
tight,
this again.
it,
So you just like hike it
unbutton
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
tight, we're going up.
Easy.
But if it's like a
Well, clearly this
flowy-
wasn't a short,
elastic.
tight skirt. This was something that
If
dragged
this is like a
and like
long
got
maxi skirt, like you're pulling it down.
It was elastic, but like it's only.
Layer,
Actually,
you're valid.
I do have a question though. While we're on the topic of peeing and things,
for sure.
when you're wearing a full piece bathing suit, do you take your whole bathing suit off, or do you just pull it to the side?
I don't think
I
I
think it
am
depends.
talented enough to pull it to the side and not pee on my hands and or the swimsuit
Yeah.
itself. I feel like I'm getting. It's like when you
Well,
wear a bodysuit.
I don't think Leia is either, but I
Yeah.
think she still does it.
You should try it. It's so much easier. I saw somebody post about it
I
on
say you just
TikTok.
hope that you're going to the ocean.
Are you clumsy?
Is what I say
Leia?
in that situation.
Yeah, can you not tell by knowing me?
I thought you were gonna say if you're wearing a one-piece bathing suit, do you take it all the way off or pee through it? And I was gonna be very, very
Oh.
nervous for you.
No.
Yeah.
I
Just
do
let it
not
go,
pee
man.
through it.
But
But
do you
somebody
pee in the
did.
ocean?
Somebody did just tell me actually that they pee in pools,
That's
and that it's
crazy.
normal to pee in a pool,
It-
like a private pool.
I think
If
for
it
some
is, you
people,
should not
yeah.
tell anyone about
I mean,
it.
I'm not gonna say I've never. I mean, like, I never have. Like, I definitely have peed in a pool once or twice.
Like somebody's
Yeah.
private pool recently.
like a private, like our own pool. Yes, in our backyard. Like no one else is in it besides me.
Private pool is a wild term.
Yeah,
In somebody's
private pool is
pool.
crazy.
Just some, like not a public.
I think as a
pool.
child or occasionally when I'm home, if I'm like in the pool with my family and we're like drinking a lot. No.
With your
I
family,
mean,
you're
like if I'm
mean?
like kind of drunk in a pool, if I'm drunk in a pool, like it's accidentally happened,
Have you guys not
but
seen
not
Good
often.
to know.
I'm not trying
Good to
to.
know.
I'm never swimming
Mary's
with
never
Mary.
her.
invited
Have
to
you
a
not seen
pool
the-
party.
Have you never seen the grown up scene where the
I have
husbands
seen the
pee in the
grown-up
pool and it
scene.
turns blue?
Oh, of course I've seen.
Fearful
Oh,
of
that
that.
that was like a
Yeah.
fear of mine. Someone told me that once
Yeah.
that if you pee in the
Yeah.
pool, it changes colors, and so I didn't for a long
Yeah.
time after that until I started using my brain.
Same.
Also, full disclosure, this is not something I do often. This
Mary
is like
pees in the pool?
Only when you're
once-
drinking.
Not even like often when I'm
Only when
drinking,
you're in the
like,
pool with your family.
Once.
Drinking.
It's okay, Mary.
It's not all the time. It's not.
It's okay, Mary. You
frequent.
just said it on a podcast.
Yeah,
Cut.
it's okay.
Cut.
No one's listening. It's okay. No one's listening.
Well, before we get to the most recent dark episode of The Valley, I often wonder sometimes when it comes to these shows, like, was it worth it? Like, at this point, Janet and Jesse must be asking them, like, Jason even, is it worth? I don't know. Like, are they getting brand deals? Like, what are they making to record this show? Like, Jan's got like 76,000 followers, which I don't know, in the grand schemes of the internet and like being an influencer is not much. Ooh.
She may or
Um,
may not have just fled the country.
Yeah, well, the
Did,
internet.
did they
Could've
flee
gone
the
on a
country or
trip.
did they go on summer vacation?
I think she just went out of town.
Literally.
Like,
I
where
think
did
you might have just
fleeing the
gone on
country come
vacation.
from?
Trolls.
I do feel like
Mhm.
someone going on vacation and fleeing the country might be two different
Or
things.
two different things. I do think it's crazy that this is not me like necessarily saying Janet is a perfect person whatsoever, but she is definitely not the worst or most toxic person on the Valley cast. When
Correct, yeah.
Jax
Yeah,
Taylor
correct. No, Jax
is also
definitely is.
there, it's crazy that she gets attacked more than Jax, it seems at times.
Are you talking about her from her peers or the fans? Because I do feel like the fans have really laid into Jax this year.
I think Piers specifically.
Jesse really seems to be getting a pass online. I mean, I honestly think Michelle gets more hate
Jesse
than Jesse.
too.
I have a take on that though with Jesse specifically. I think that like the reason that Schwartz came on here and said like you're gonna like Jesse by the end of the season and like people kept being like you're gonna like Jesse, you're gonna like Jesse. It's because he hasn't been on the show so much anymore.
He's
Like,
stopped talking.
Yeah, like I don't.
It's like he shuts up, so
he's
it'll
not
be okay.
there. So like, sure, I guess like he's just not in the drama or on the show really.
I mean, him and Aaron made up, so I guess maybe that's.
I will say, I mean, like this, this show is definitely like, it really makes you count your blessings. I mean, it honestly does make me thankful for like how hard we work on our relationship. When we were visiting Tyler and Tate, we went out and got some lunch before we caught our flight home. And our waiter, lovely gentleman. And then like I was like kind of following River around the restaurant, as she kind of got tired of eating, and he was like playing with her and making faces and interacting with River. And he was like, yeah, I got two of my own, but I'm going through a divorce right now and I don't get to see him that much. And it's heartbreaking, just even if you have a good, healthy co-parenting situation, if you're not able to make it work in a marriage and two people decide to separate, it's devastating. And then as much as I hate Jesse, like it is sad to see, I don't know, like I have no empathy for Jesse for how he treats people and specifically how he treats Michelle. But to see your ex-partner date another guy and then have your child, say I love you and express affection to him, and even to have that conversation about like, how is a stranger going to be around your daughter, and just kind of like, and you're at the mercy of your ex-partner, like choosing the right oh God, it's just, my heart goes out to all the people who, I'm just, it makes me thankful that we can make it work, because it's sad. It's sad that it's just sad.
Yeah, it is. That scene was definitely like hard to watch, and I think Aaron even was kind of like, yeah, I think I crossed the line, specifically with Father's Day, and like
It's a complicated situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's sad because, also, and there's some cases where it's true, where you say like, listen, like staying together for the sake of the kids isn't necessarily helping anyone out, but it's just, it's a bummer.
Janet's comments on the boat were, I mean, I guess we could get to that.
It's just horrific.
I mean, like, I think Nia said it best, of just like, this not coming from the person or people that it actually happened to. And like, apparently Janet like wasn't even there the night that Danny allegedly put his hands on Jasmine. And so it's like, the fact that she has continued to run with this narrative and even start saying like the definition of what happened being sexual assault is just absolutely mind-blowing, not okay, so scary. And then like, the fact that Kristen really was the only one who was that upset also blows my mind. It's like, where are these people's friends? Like, none of these people besides Kristen and Luke are Nia and Danny's friend.
You have Jasmine and Melissa getting up and being like, stop talking about this. Like, the people that it happened to are telling you to stop, and you're throwing strong words around. And it's not about you. You cannot speak about somebody else's experience in public to other people, like using words like that when they're right there asking you to stop.
Public, but on a national television show. That's a huge accusation to make about someone with children. And you're just gonna flippantly throw it out on a national television show? Like, that's a scary person to be friends with. Jasmine's storyline wasn't, hey, Danny S.A.'d me. Her storyline was like, Danny got drunk and like put his hand and like not okay.
It made me uncomfortable.
Like, made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But either way, it's theirs to deal, like it's their story to tell. Like, it's not Janet's.
It also really made me sad that Kristen went to Jason being like, she like whispers it in his ear. She doesn't want to say it in front of Nia and Danny or like again loudly in front of people. She whispers it in Jason's ear.
And he was kind of like, well, technically.
Like.
Jason's a weak man.
I stand by my original comment. I think I called him like a pussy ass bitch, really.
Period.
Maybe it's a survival mechanism. Maybe, in fairness to Jason, he's got to listen to Janet just,
That was a rough beat.
Yeah. But like, I just don't, I know what it's like to go on a reality TV show and be like, you know what? I don't know. I really don't want to be the villain. And and then become the villain, just knowing that like sometimes, you run your mouth and you get a bad edit and then certainly in Bachelor World, they can make, nothing turn into something. Like, this isn't editing. Like, whether it's her or Jesse, the fact that she risked this thinking that she was right, or
and then her saying, I had to use the definition or whatever, and he's like, you had to, or
because
you chose
my husband's a lawyer.
Yeah, it's just like, I just don't understand her thought process of like, did you think you were gonna be liked by this behavior? Like, this is what you want to be known by? You're in again, this isn't like a group of messy 22-year-olds who don't have a care in the world. They have what they like to say is like a healthy family unit. Like, how is bringing this energy into your life something you want to do? I mean, at least get Jesse and Michelle. It's like, you know what? Our lives are shit. Let's just blow it all the fuck up. But like, Janet seemingly has something to like protect. Why is she like, I don't get the thought process.
Well, that's what it is. It's like, what do you have to gain with all this drama? Because you're just she seems to just be kind of like inserting herself into the problem, like inserting herself into the drama. And it goes back to the original point of like, what's it worth? Kristen calls her out for like being a fan. It's like, is this what Janet wants?
When I started watching The Valley, I wanted to, kind of as a bit, wanted to defend Janet because I thought it was funny. But it's just like, it gets so hard. When she just keeps doing stuff like this.
I mean, she just has no like storyline for herself. Like we know nothing about Janet or her marriage or her child.
Other than that she thinks it's perfect.
Other than she thinks it's perfect. Everything that comes out of her mouth is about someone else.
Has she said anything recently about her behavior other than like turning off her Instagram for a minute?
She was on Watch What Happens Live, like kind of recently.
Yeah.
And she was calling out threats and slurs being sent her way amid all the backlash.
Which is definitely not okay. And it makes you sad that people are doing that. I wish she would address her behavior that's causing fans to be
upset.
I just wish that like people could react to things normally.
Yeah, she said that she had to close her Instagram page for receiving an outpouring of hate. She said, "It's sad to me that people go this far. It's definitely the worst part about this job. I'm learning how to put boundaries on social media in place and learning as I go. I support healthy dialogue around reality TV and think some of the best conversations about modern culture stem from shows like ours."
She really believes in what she's doing, I guess.
I feel like if after every single episode we had a public statement from Janet being like, watching this back, this isn't how I, thought I was portraying my feelings. I wish I wouldn't have said A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and like moving forward. Yeah, I feel like we need an apology from Janet after every single episode. And it seems like she just acts like she did nothing. And she's like, why are y'all so mad at me?
I mean, like, she really is the epitome of, at least she presents as like the definition of what everyone thinks a Karen is. I mean, it's true as form.
I mean, she said that she admitted to her that she was a Karen. Yeah. She was like, I looked at the definition and I definitely am a little bit of that.
Yeah, like nosy, self-righteous.
Then, like almost like lean into that and make it a character then, Like I feel like there would be a way for like Janet to be Janet in a way that's way less like toxic than
But she can't do anything.
She can have fun with it.
Like selflessly. Is that the right word? Like everything that she does is about other people. Like she can't.
Like what's Janet's vulnerable side? Like what are her insecurities?
That's what I'm saying. We know nothing about Janet and her background, her family, her life, her marriage. We know nothing because every time she speaks, she's spewing some rumor, saying something mean about someone else.
I think the Valley in general, they just need to like have more fun. Like it was so refreshing on Love Island the other night where they had the baby challenge because it was just like
fun.
Just like watching people have fun and it being lighthearted. It was just a breath of fresh air, like the Meg Thee Stallion episode. Like you just got to sprinkle some of those in.
Yeah, the Valley needs to get like VPR even at its worst was still fun. And the Valley just
or were we all just like in a different headspace when Vanderpump was on?
The stakes were different, right? When you're 22 and you're being fuckheads to each other, it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, now it's like
like Next Gen is fun.
Yeah,
no,
when there's kids involved and there's
divorce
family dynamics and we're just having like this icky conversation with a man we hate like Jesse. And you still like are forced to kind of have some kind of empathy for him because even the people you hate, you're kind of sad that their family gets ripped apart. And then you have like, this one family man, Danny, who's like got 4 kids under 4. And again, I'm sure Danny has his flaws and maybe he drinks a little too much. And like, but he certainly is constantly apologizing, is willing to take more accountability than anyone on this fucking cast. And then you have Janet, who again also has seemingly a nice family dynamic, is constantly trying to just tear others down, and the stakes are just different, and it's this kind of yuckier, And then then you have Jackson, Brittany, and that's a whole nother. Did I hear it right? Did Schwartz say if you guys stay together, you'll probably end up in jail?
Yes, I rewinded it because I was like, did I hear that right? And then I rewinded it, and that is exactly what he said.
And it's like, Well, thanks for your honesty, Swartz, but like,
That's alarming. In jail for what?
yeah.
And you're standing in the kitchen with this man,
Yeah.
being buddy friends with him?
Like,
Honestly, the last week's episode, I was like, oh, this is, Kristen's engaged. It's like not super dark. Maybe we're turning a corner. And then this episode, it was like, oh, and then it was like, Jax isn't on the trip. Maybe we're in good, clear view sight. Nope.
Yeah, this show needs a serious reboot. Like, again, we've already talked about this. Give me Lala. I want to see Lala date. I want to hear the struggles of being a single mom with some inspirational moments of her crushing life and being an amazing mother.
Give me Stassi.
Stassi's not going to do it, but yes, we would love Stassi. But like, Stassi's not going to do it.
Here we go.
Yeah, but you need some aspirational moments here. Like, give me some real life storylines, Like, yeah, I mean...
Schwartz wearing flip-flops as an adult man.
Yeah, I'll
Where's
take
some of the
that.
people that we threw out for the new cast? Julianne Hough.
Yeah.
I think Stassi's...
Bring in
where she
Julianne
I'm
works
like,
for
it's
Hulu.
a dream cast for a reason. Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
though, it
Tom
would be great.
Sandoval and his girlfriend Victoria would be more aspirational than with the shit we're seeing right now. At least they're going to therapy every day.
Are they?
I don't know. They said they were.
Nick's his therapist.
Yeah.
No, I'm
They're calling Nick.
Nope.
Honestly, at this point, it would take a lot for me to say that. I would rather see Tom Sandoval on my television than the current cast of the Valley.
Nick's dream storyline for Tom, him launching his OnlyFans career.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Victoria's taking photos.
Sandoval just like with his band. Like, wait, the Valley would be amazing if it was like Tom Sandoval as an adult man still thinking he's going to make it as a rock star.
Following him to
Like,
his America's Got Talent audition.
That would be
Exactly.
awesome.
Imagine we were backstage at America's Got Talent. We were watching him
Yeah.
Yes.
practice in his garage with his band for America's Got Talent. That's
Yeah.
better than whatever
Did
the
he
hell
make
we're
it,
seeing
by the
right
way?
now.
Well, that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you to our guests, Monica Garcia and Christina Cocca, as well as our Love Island stars, TJ and Jaden. We appreciate them all and appreciate you guys listening. If you haven't checked out the Going Deeper episode with Kaya, obviously a very different type of episode for Going Deeper, but an important one nonetheless, and very empowering. Kaya is a victim of Harvey Weinstein, and she tells a very heroic story about how she dealt with that whole ordeal. That is our Going Deeper episode this week. It's out. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. We will see you back on Monday. Finale of Love Island. It's going to be a crazy week. We'll see you then. Stay with us. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.